Just cooking, and then man, what's up,
You been good?
Little headache, it's all good, you know. I bounce back quick. I'm resilient, man. We had this karma. I'm resilient, but you know, we gonna see what happened this weekend because I know I'm not letting niggas to Vegas without seeing me. So we'll take care of that before the weekend's over. I know that for sure.
Man, Cameron, you still running your mouth out there, Oos? Talking about I ain't gonna leave Vegas. Hey, today's Saturday, Oos. I'm a Saturday ass. Yeah, pull up, man. You know where I'm at, Oos.
Listen, hold up. We've got a fresh update on Jey Uso and Cameron's situation, and trust me, it just got even crazier. Last week, everybody watched Jey Uso get physical with Cameron live on It Is What It Is after Cam threw a few slick shots that clearly hit a nerve. Then boom, out of nowhere, Jey grabbed Cam and slammed him straight to the ground like it was nothing. Now people are side-eyeing the whole thing, saying it felt way too perfect, like it was all building towards something bigger at Wrestlemania. And honestly, Cam didn't help the speculation when he hinted at the next episode that he was coming for revenge that Saturday. But here's where it gets interesting, because everyone was waiting on Cam to pop out, and yeah, that never happened. Fans were locked in, expecting that big moment, and it just didn't play out as anybody thought. Later on, Cam came through saying he actually did show up to WrestleMania, but something wild shut it all down. If you missed it, he even posted online directly calling out Jey and making it clear he pulled up ready. In his post, Cam said, "Yo, Oos, you pump faking. You had police and everything else not letting me in the building. As soon as I got 2 blacks from WrestleMania, cops said I'll be arrested if I'm anywhere near the stadium. Cut it out, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to our brother's show tonight." Now listen, that right there flipped everything, because instead of a face-off, it turned into a whole different kind of tension. Cam made it clear he wasn't trying to ruin the event, but he still wanted that energy right after. He basically said, "We not gonna mess up the show, but we can get it shaken right after," letting everybody know he was still outside and ready for whatever. Then he doubled down, calling Jey out again, saying, "So now you know where I'm going to be, and don't say you busy. You was the first fight. You freed at 3 p.m., shaking my head. And yeah, that line had people talking because Cam was straight up applying pressure for Jey to show up for real. So from Cam's perspective, he's explaining exactly why nobody saw him at WrestleMania getting that payback. According to him, police stepped in and basically blocked him from even getting close, which makes the whole situation feel a little too controlled, just saying. Meanwhile, Jey looked really comfortable in that arena, and now Cam is pushing for the same energy at a different show with people watching closely. After that whole situation, a lot of folks, including me, started thinking this might be part of something way bigger tied to WrestleMania. And don't forget, there was still another day left, so people were already going wild with theories about what might really be happening behind the scenes. But listen, the second Cam got yanked out of that chair, something about it just hit different. It didn't feel like your typical moment at all, because instead of everything erupting into chaos, Cam kinda held back and just took it, which instantly had people looking sideways. Even Mace reacted, jumping up on the desk right then, and that alone showed how intense it looked in real time. But let's be real, if this were actually serious, that whole room would have moved completely differently, and it would have turned into something way more out of control. And that's exactly why folks are convinced this was building towards something bigger from the jump. So yeah, a lot of people really thought Cam was about to pop up in the ring at some point, like a surprise entrance, but it never came. Everybody stayed locked in, waiting for that big reveal, and it just didn't happen like that at all. According to Cam, the entire area around WrestleMania was packed with police, so even getting close was already an issue. And that alone got people thinking even deeper, like maybe something bigger is still in motion and just hasn't dropped yet. Now Cam's saying, listen, we can still run it back later that night at his homie's show. And yeah, it sounds like he might be talking about Lil Wayne. Either way, the energy is still there, and people are trying to figure out what's really about to happen next because this doesn't feel finished. Fans were glued all day waiting to see if something would pop off because this is a major moment. You even had iShow Speed out there going crazy and jumping off the top rope, so the whole atmosphere was already wild, which made this situation feel even more intense. So now we're at that point where it's really expect the unexpected, you know what I mean? That was only day one, and there's still more that could unfold. But according to Cam, Jey Uso had police all around the building, which already had people side-eyeing everything. And honestly, think about it. If this were real, for real, it wouldn't have played out like that. There's no way somebody just walks away after something like that without it escalating right then and there. No delays, no catch you later, none of that. It would have been handled on the spot. Cam basically made it sound like if that was real, nobody's leaving until it's settled. Forget the show, forget the timing, everything stops right there. Because from his perspective, that moment had him looking crazy, and even Mace got caught in the mix. But instead, everything slowed down, security stepped in heavily, and now it feels like something bigger might be brewing behind the scenes. That's why people are still watching closely, because this doesn't feel over at all. It could flip at any second. So now we're at that moment where everybody was waiting. Saturday came and still nothing happened. And yet, that left a lot of people confused, especially after all the hype leading into it. Now, hold up. You've got Jey Uso out here like, so what really happened? Because Cameron made it seem like there was no way Jey was leaving Vegas without crossing paths with him. And that right there is what's got people questioning everything, because the energy before this was completely different. So now we're back in that waiting game again. Maybe something goes down later that night, maybe it's the next day. Nobody really knows. But as of right now, Cam didn't show up to get that payback on Jey Uso, and people are still trying to piece together what went wrong. And listen, from the moment that whole situation kicked off, with Cam getting slammed, it already felt off. Even at the very start of the clip, you could see Cam kind of bracing himself, which only adds fuel to the idea that something bigger might have been planned from the jump. So when you really break it down, the whole thing starts feeling more like a promo than anything else. That countdown energy, 3, 2, 1, it had that staged vibe, like something bigger was being set up. Because at this point, there has to be some kind of explanation coming, right? You don't build up all that hype, all that tension just for nothing to happen. And that's exactly why people are confused. Like, how do you push it that far and then deliver zero payoff? And let's be real, if it were serious, it would have been handled right there on the spot. The whole set would have reacted instantly, and it would have turned into straight chaos. That moment alone could have gone crazy viral if everything really popped off the way people expected. But instead, everything slowed down, nobody really made a move, and now the audience is just stuck waiting, still expecting Cameron to spin back and settle things with Jey Uso. That's why people are locked in, because it still feels like something's about to happen. So at the end of the day, Cam didn't get that payback, and now everybody's just watching, waiting on what comes next. The whole situation is still up in the air, and people are trying to make sense of his explanation for missing WrestleMania. Now, here's the real question. Do you actually believe this is real, or does it still feel off to you? Because if we're being honest, this situation has people split right down the middle. Some are buying it completely, others are looking at it like something just isn't adding up. And keeping it real, even I'm not fully sold either way. It's one of those situations where you just sit back, watch closely, and wait for the next move. But from the second that clip dropped, the whole interaction already had that staged feel. And now here we are, late into the night, and still nothing has happened, which just makes it all feel even more questionable. And yeah, still nothing happened. Jey Uso looked way too comfortable the entire time, while Cameron is now telling him to pull up somewhere else, which honestly feels backwards. Because let's be real, if you're the one who got embarrassed like that, the pressure's on you to handle it, not the other way around. Cam was the one saying Jey wasn't leaving Vegas without seeing him, and he said that loud and clear on It Is What It Is. So now people are like, wait, what changed? There was even talk from his side about what was supposed to go down, with Freaky Zeke saying he'd lock him in a full Nelson and all that extra energy, but none of it actually happened. And that just made everything feel even more confusing. So now everybody's sitting here like, hold up, what is really going on? Because all that buildup, all that talking, and still no real moment, it's got people wanting answers right now. So the big question still stands, why didn't Cameron get that payback? After everything that went down, after him getting slammed like that, people are still trying to piece together what really happened. Some might brush it off like, people get slammed every day. But nah, this one hit different. This situation had way more eyes on it than that. But now I gotta hear from you. What do you think is really going on here? Drop your thoughts down in the comments and let's talk about it. I'll keep you updated as this story continues to develop, because this definitely doesn't feel like it's over yet. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Tap that notification bell so you don't miss anything, and run this video up if you're rocking with it. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.